What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 42 of Beyond the Finish Line, a running podcast that dives deep into the stories that transcend far beyond the distance. I am your host, Joe Hardin. I'm a passionate trail runner myself. Whether you're an elite, a back of the pack grinder, or somewhere in between, this is your space to learn, grow, and get inspired. Today we have Jerrod Hardy. Jerrod is a podcast host, an author, a public speaker, a leadership coach, best known for his hosting of the On Purpose podcast. I had the honor of being on that show recently, and I really had a good time on that show. And uh, it's a weekly show focused on meaningful living, purpose, mindset, leadership, and stories of people who are intentionally shaping their lives. And recently, something cool. Jerrod is an ultra runner, so we'll get into that. Jerrod's a lot of things, but I'm sure we'll unpack that along the way. But also, real quick, friends of the pod, do me a huge favor: like, share, rate, review the podcast. Like I always say, we cannot do this show without your support. 5-star reviews are invaluable to us. And something that you have all been really good at is commenting on Spotify. And that is my favorite thing. I love that. It's so cool getting feedback from the shows. And it's cool that I know that people listen, which is pretty rad. Like I said, I love doing the show, but it makes it even better that I know that people tune in and are responding to the show. I love that feedback. I respond to every single comment that I can, and the most timely manner that I possibly can. That's me. It's not like we're some big, media conglomerate. We're just we're just a group of very passionate runners. We love that feedback. So thank you. Keep that going. Um, I don't want to ramble on any further before we bring our great guest on. So without further ado, let's bring Jerrod up for this great chat. What is up? Cool. Heck yeah.
Thanks for the intro, Joe. It's nice to,
Well,
to be here
so
with
now
you
that
and an
we,
honor to meet your community.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I had a really good time being on your show. I love the pod. You had Jason on too. I love
Mhm.
getting to hear Jay. I never miss a chance to hear Jason talk. So, and he gets me inspired. But I guess before you spend more than enough time with Jason, he'll get you fired up at all kinds of stuff. Well, cool. So, you know, you do a lot of things. I'm sure I didn't even cover half of what you do, but uh, tell us who Jerrod Hardy is.
Yeah, thank you for that. And so I'm a husband of 26 years, which teaches me every day what it means to stay committed and build something that lasts. I'm a father of 3 incredible young people who keep me honest to the values I taught them and give me courage to keep showing up and dreaming. I'm a believer that every one of us can be our own superhero in our own story, and a dreamer that knows it's never too late to start anything new, and then a doer
Oh,
that has learned that if we show up daily, action can take us to places we never imagined. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
I love that. Yeah, like that's something I've really had to lean into is like just keep showing up for myself has like been my new kind of like mantra. So like, what does that mean to you? Like currently, I know that can day to day, to week. What does like keep showing up kind of mean to you? Like currently, I guess.
Yeah. Realistically, what it means to me is give yourself the opportunity to turn the page in your life, turn a new chapter. Don't be so stuck in what you've always done is what you always have to do. Like you alluded to, I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've been able to do things because my core belief is that it's never too late to try something new or to reinvent yourself. So to me, showing up first, that starts with that, right? Show up for yourself, allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to have new things, allow yourself to fail. Don't put yourself in this box where you're so worried about what other people think or what they say about you or what's been working. You got to stay doing it if you don't love it. To me, that's what it means to show up. And then once you start showing up for yourself, there's more to show up for other people, right? And then they start to feed off it, kind of like you were talking about with Jason. They feed off that energy, and now you have a whole group of people that are like we talk about a lot, living life with intention and purpose instead of just going through the routine.
Yeah. I kind of hit on something that I've been like reflecting on lately. It's like you mentioned like spending time with certain people. It's like you're like the sum of the people you surround yourself with, and that's something that I know has been like really important. And I really love what you said about reinventing yourself because that's obviously been a big part of my journey too. And that's something I always try to keep in mind is like you're never too old. Like it's never too old to teach an old dog new tricks, right? You're never too old to like reinvent yourself. Um, so yeah, you hit on some good stuff there. Um,
Thanks. Yeah, and that's the
yeah, so I
truth, right?
guess yeah,
Most most of the time, it's not anybody else that keeps us in a box. It's us that keep ourselves in the box. We put ourselves in a position where we're not allowed to
yeah,
grow, we're not allowed to change, and, that's one of the things that we've been really conscientious of raising our family and how we live our life is do scary stuff, get out there, try new things, and that's where the joy of life really is found, not in doing things that you don't enjoy, but because you expect yourself to do it.
yeah. Do you think that's what gets in a lot of people's way? Is they're like kind of afraid to get out of their own way? That's kind of what I've noticed with myself. It's like my biggest hurdle has always been myself, even to this day. Something I constantly have to like kind of overcome.
Yeah, I think if you look, it's easy to blame somebody else. It's easy to blame whatever you want to blame because then you don't have ownership of the problem solving, right? You don't have to solve it because it's not your problem to solve. It affects you, but you can't take control of it. When if you really look, you put yourself in these boxes a lot of times, and like you alluded to, we call it the circle of five, right? You're the sum of the five people you spend the most time with. If that circle of 5 is like the crabs in the bucket and they keep pulling you back down every time you try to get out, you need a new circle of friends, right? Which is why, like we'll get to, like why I took up trail running is I like the community of trail running. I like being there because everybody's trying to lift each other up. And as you said, it doesn't matter if you're in a lead, a mid pack, or a back of the pack. You're all out there making yourselves better. And there's a commonality in there and there's a bond in struggling together that you don't find a lot of places, and that's really why I like that sport.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and dive into that. I mean, that's not what brought us together, but that's kind of what like the common bond we have, and I talked about that like on your show. So I guess I know you've done like multiple disciplines, right? I think are you in like mixed martial arts and stuff too? I guess we can talk about that, but um, I'm really curious about your running story. Yeah, tell us how you got started because I know ultra running is a pretty new venture for you, right? Trail running too, but
Mhm.
sort of. But so maybe let's run us through that. Tell us your story on that.
Yeah, well, I did mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. I was competing actively. We owned a gym for a while in Colorado, and then after COVID, we had made some lifestyle changes and sold it, and we're traveling full time, and we're getting to a lot of exotic places, around the country and in Mexico, and I was hiking all the time, and then my sister kinda turned me on to Western states. One year, we were in Montana together for my mom's birthday, and we watched a live stream on YouTube, and I was like, "Wait, this is a sport? Like, running through the mountains and snacking is actually a sport." So, I just got intrigued, and I was like, "Wait, instead of hiking, if I go run these, I'm gonna get farther and see more." And that kind of spurred me on. But no, my running journey, I was a college baseball player, and then I was in the military and in law enforcement. So fitness has always been part of my life, but really running was discipline for not playing well in a game. Usually we had to run extra sprints or something.
Yeah,
Or during the fighting period of my life, we were running to lose weight to make our assigned weight classes. So it was never something I enjoyed. It was something I did to support other things I enjoyed, which is really fun now because now I'm like, wait, the run is the actual enjoyment. The run is the part I
yeah,
get to enjoy. So instead of running to like dehydrate yourself and get as fast as you can to the destination, now I'm like, wait, I get to run for 5 or 6 hours and just be there and enjoy the steps. And see scenery, and my son's out here, our son's out here with us now. I get to run with him and like have these conversations that we don't normally get at other places in life. And it's amazing. And I think that's kind of what you were talking about, your circle and showing up for yourself. When you allow yourself to do something new, you don't even know what you're going to find there, but it could be pretty
Oh
amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what was like your trajectory? Did you do any road at all, or did you just go like straight to trail,
Yeah,
or just straight?
I did some 5Ks, back in the day just for fun. We did some family 5Ks and run with your dog 5Ks. But I don't really enjoy running the streets. Like, it's never been my favorite thing. And because of our lifestyle, we're usually out near trails. Running is just the
Yeah.
the natural thing I enjoy. So no, I honestly, I jumped right in. I did one like half-ass half marathon one day that none of us trained for, and we just showed up and did it. And it was a complete suffer fest. Um, and then I just signed up this last summer. My son and I, we did a 30 miler in South Dakota. And it's funny because even when I registered for it, they were like, "You don't, if you ever ran this far?" And I'm like, "No, I've not." They're like, "Why don't you start with the 20 miler or the 10 just to get your feet wet?" And I'm like, "I can't do that. 'Cause I know 30 is an option. And if I do 26, it's like 4 more. I already did 26. Why wouldn't I do these last 4?" So we jumped in and did a 30 miler. We learned a lot. It wasn't super pretty. And now we're going to make another leap in this summer of 2026. We're going to do the Copper Kings 100 up in Montana.
I saw you signed up for that. I was like, so cool. Yeah, yeah, Wes is such a cool dude. I He's been on the show and I've been on his show, and first of all, he's just a phenomenal. Like, if you ever need any help at all with any questions about ultra running, he'll be very quick to answer you, and he'll be very thorough and very helpful. So I'm super excited. That's your first 100 miler. Okay, like when you hit register, tell me all the feelings. Tell me what you're going through. Like, you finished a 30 miler, and then you just decided might as well send it and do Copper King. I love that.
Yeah, dude. And no, and not only that, I had an alarm set on my clock to make sure I registered the very first day when it opened. I didn't even want to wait because I didn't want to talk myself out of it. I didn't want nobody else to tell me it's crazy. I was like, no, we're doing this. That's the feeling, right? Is like it invigorates you, right? Because how many times do we find ourselves talking about like, I'd like to do this thing, but it's not right this time. This time is not right this time. And then next thing you know, you're at the end of your life and you missed your window to do it. Right. So yeah, let's go. I got
100. Yeah.
I got 6 months to prepare. It's 100 miles. I've done the math of how fast I have to go. Right. Like, that one thing about ultra running is that there's a lot of math to it. There's data, right? You go certain speeds, you're going to end up at where you need to be at a certain time. And is it impossible? No. I mean, is it going to be easy? No, but nothing in life is easy that's worth having, right? There's a quote I like, Joe, that says like, nothing worth having in life is easy, and nothing easy is worth having. Right. So let's do some hard stuff. We're here for a short time.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That's kind of, I have a similar sort of mantra. It's like I could sit around and talk about signing up for something, and I'm going to eventually find a million reasons why I can't. So it's like you might as well just like do the scary shit and send it. It's like maybe you won't make it, maybe you will. Who cares? But what are you going to do? Like, not try? And then, like you said, I'll be, too old to do this, and then I'll be regretting. I just don't want to have any regrets. Even if I failed,
Yeah.
I want to at least like show up to the things, right?
Yeah.
So I love that, man. I'm excited. That's on my birthday too. So I'm gonna be rooting for you.
Thanks.
I really wanted to. That'll be 2020. I think my plan is Copper Kings will be my 2027 birthday present to myself.
Yeah. Well,
But Copper Kings is so close to Vol. Like, so Wes is also doing Vol State, so I'll see Wes at Vol State shortly after Copper King, so I'll be able to hopefully share some miles with Wes. So man, that's cool. Yeah. So you're probably already training up and getting ready for that. That's
no, I'm excited. It puts purpose behind all your things, right? So now you're like, okay, I'm dialing in nutrition. I'm trying to figure out hydration. What do I like? What don't I like? So it's a lot of fun that way. And then for me, the other thing is my mom and a lot of my family live in Butte, and Wes is from Butte. So to be able to go back home, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, to like let them see that you're never too old to try something new. It's good to do crazy shit. It's pretty cool. So we're
Yeah.
excited to have a good group at the finish line. Hopefully I'll have some of the nephews and nieces that want to run maybe the last mile with us as we come across, and just let them know it's never too early to dream, and it's never too late to start.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, you gotta have dreams, right? I feel like I'm gonna do another quote, a quote too. It's like I'm gonna paraphrase this and probably mess it up, but well, dreams are what make life tolerable. So yeah, it's exciting to dream big, and that's cool that you have like some kind of connection to the event too. So you'll really
Well,
get to experience the area, but like different.
yeah, my mom lives there. It's actually her birthday weekend. So that's kind of fun. We'll be there to celebrate her birthday, and we'll do the running. And my sister's a huge ultra fan. She knows more about ultra racing than I do. So she's kind of in charge of like putting together our aid stations and all that stuff. And then she'll be there with us. So it'll be an awesome family weekend. Our son's gonna run it as well. He's on the waiting list right now. Wes, get him in, please. We're trying to
Come
get
on,
him
Wes.
in because he signed up late. Yeah, we'll put some pressure on Wes. There you go, Joe. Pressure him up for me. I think he's like number 20 or something on the wait list. So I'm hoping he'll get in, and then I'll have him to run it with me. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, give me this, Joe. And what part of life would I ever regret spending time on the Continental Divide Trail, pushing myself, learning about myself, sharing it with my family? No matter what the result is, when would that ever be a bad story to tell in your life?
Oh yeah, no way, no way in hell would that be a bad story to share. That sounds amazing. Obviously, like I have faith that you're going to crush this, but regardless of the outcome, that's cool. That's special. That would be exciting to share. That'd be really neat.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
that would
what
be
you hit
that'd be
on there,
cool.
Joe, is the cool thing, right? I could do it and keep it to myself, and maybe I feel something. But when you share, now you bring others with
Oh
you. You
yeah.
bring others up. You get others going, wait, what is that thing I want to do? Maybe it's not ultra running, but maybe it's, taking a cooking class or learning a new language or maybe traveling, like whatever it is. When you give yourself permission to do crazy stuff, other people are kind of like, wait, maybe I should do something like that. And this model we have of sharing, like, because I plan on sharing the journey on our social media and stuff, is the same thing when I did when we were fighting. We did all of our fights. We raised money for charities, and it got people questioning things, got people thinking about things, and that's you can only do that if you're
Yeah.
willing to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it shows other people that, to your point, it doesn't have to be running, but it could be some other big leap they want to take. You're kind of showing them like, hey, it's okay. It is scary, but I mean, what's the alternative? Like not taking a chance on yourself or
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
That's
you
exciting.
mentioned right, like I could not do it because I might not make it, right? I might not make 100 miles. I have no idea. I've never done it before. So there's a chance it doesn't happen, but I'm at least going to show up and try. And if I never show up and try, who's the only person that lives with that regret at the end of their life? It's not all the people that said you couldn't do it. It's only you, right?
Oh,
And I
100%.
don't
Yeah.
want that. Like I don't mind getting to the end of my life and being like, I tried some crazy stuff. I was good at some of it, not very good at others, but those are cool stories.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes like the failure is like actually pretty fun. Like it's kind of cool to unpack it. Just like wow, that was a crazy ride.
Yeah, well,
But
think about
that's
this, Joe.
cool. That's
When's the
exciting.
last time you sat down with somebody and was like, "Hey, let me tell you this cool story." So I tried this thing. It was super easy. I had no hiccups, and I finished first. Like, there's no movies about that guy. There's no books about that story. Like, nobody wants to read that because that's not how life works. But now you say, "Hey, let me tell you
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
like you, right? Like you had some DNFs. Let me tell you about the times I didn't finish, but what did I learn? So now I could finish." Right? And
Yeah,
but if you don't even show up and try, you don't know what you're gonna learn, and the only failure to me, what we've always taught our kids, the only failure is when you don't show up. If you show up and you don't
Yeah, 100%.
win, that's not a failure. If you don't show up and you can't finish it, that's not a failure. You're going to learn in that process. But if you don't show up, you're not going to learn anything.
Absolutely. So, what do you think you're learning, like about yourself now as you're like preparing
Mm.
for Copper Kings?
Yeah,
Like kind of along the way, like what? I guess I'm curious. Like, I want to. I'm not going to be curious what you learn, like what you're learning now, and then if there's some way I can like touch base with you after Copper Kings, and like I kind of want like an update to that.
yeah.
So right now, if we stopped you right now and be like, what are you learning about yourself or about life along the way while you prepare for this thing? What do you think that would be right now?
Oh, dude, that's so easy. I was just journaling about that this morning. It's simply this: enjoy the moment.
Oh, cool.
Enjoy the moment.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Because if I go out and run today and I'm like, Copper Kings has 14,000 feet of elevation gain, and this trail I'm near in Arizona has 2,200. If I'm running those 2,200 thing, like, oh, I got to run this 6 times to make Copper King. I don't know if I can do this. Well, now I'm not enjoying what I'm running today. And I made that mistake a lot in life, Joe, is instead of enjoying today, I was trying to think of how does today set me up for next year? How does today set me up for 10 years? And then you get there and you're like, wait, getting here wasn't actually what I was supposed to enjoy. I enjoyed the process of doing it. So I'm a little older. I'm a little slower, Joe, to be honest. So I have more time out there to think because I'm not as fast as I used to be. And
Same.
that's what I'm really learning now is like, enjoy that step, enjoy the next step. I don't run with a lot of music. And it's because I like hearing my feet hit the rocks. I like being like, I'm making all this noise. I'm moving myself. I'm seeing things. And Trey and I did a run up to Skull Rock in Palm Canyon, Arizona, a couple days ago, and we're the only people out there running. Everybody else is on side by sides and stuff. And we come around this corner, and here's bighorn sheep on the side of a cliff, just staring at us. Right, and I'm like, think
Oh,
about.
that's
We both
cool.
stopped and stood there, and we're like, well, we got ourselves to this place that not many people will go to. We made very little noise. The animals don't care that we're here. We get to observe this, and it's a moment. And I'm sure at some point I'll be challenged in the race, right? I'll be challenged. I'll hit a dark spot where, man, I don't know if I could do it. You think back to like, well, you ran out and saw bighorn sheep. You had this moment that allows you to know you can get through a next moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if there's anything I think trail running has taught me is like to your like what you're saying is like presence, right? I'm always thinking in normal day life, I'm always thinking about like the next deadline. Like I want to do this in a year, but if there's anything that's really come out of like my experience is like it's not always easy. It's like a practice, it's not perfect. It's just like being present in the moment, like learning to enjoy like right now, like right where your foot is, like right where your body is, like enjoy this like moment right now. I'm not good at it. I'm getting better at it because like and like what you're hitting at is I think it's like this like ultra running and like trail running has like taught me that. If I had to take anything away from it, like recently, like that lesson changes constantly with me, but yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. So that's cool. Yeah, you could have just been like a side by side zipping around and said you got to like enjoy something like that. That's a great moment.
Well, and my guess is, Joe, the side by sides that did go by us were going so fast they didn't even see the sheep on the rocks because we were out there so long, slowly moving through the canyon that you got to see movement on the rocks. Like, wait, what is this? Let me stop for a second. And what I like, Joe, also is it parallels life, right? Because now I get to have this conversation with you. And because I'm practicing being present and focusing on what's right in front of me on the run, now you take it to your life. And now instead of talking to you, think about what I got to do in 20 minutes or an hour or tomorrow. No, it's all about being here right now because I don't know when we're going to have another conversation, Joe. Like neither of us do. We don't know what the world holds
Yeah,
between now and when we reconvene. So why would I not want to be here? Right? Why would I not want to give you my
yeah,
100% attention so I can learn from you and you can learn from me and we have this moment that maybe we'll draw strength from in the future. But there was too many
oh
times in
yeah,
my life that because I was very goal driven and we had a fast paced life, like I'd look at this, but I'd be here, but I'm really not here. I'm over there. And that's what I like about trail running. That's, I think, how it applies to real life is the joy is in your moments, not reaching the end of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, 100%. It's like, yeah, everything else is just so busy and crazy, and it's like such like there's nothing else that slows it down and really puts things into perspective. Like, I mean, I know other people have their sports, like other hobbies that probably do that for them. So I can't speak to that, but there's certainly something about it. And being immersed in nature is huge. And yeah, it's just yeah, thanks for sharing. That's cool.
Well,
I have never seen bighorn sheep in real life. I bet that's pretty wild.
oh, it's so awesome, man. And they were probably, I don't know, 800 feet up this cliff. How they even walk up there blows my mind because they're big animals and they're walking on this cliff and we're down below. And Trey wanted to stop and watch them for a while, but I'm sure other runners have had this. Is we should have been back like 45 minutes before we got back. We were only going to go for 3 hours. We kept going further. It ended up being 4. And I'm like, dude, if we stand here too long, like then the girls are definitely going to come looking for us. We got to get back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. And I don't know how long I'll run. Like it's a chapter I'm writing now for my life, but I'm going to give it my all. And do I expect to win anything? Absolutely not. I know I'm definitely not elite. Like I get reminded of that, but there's honor in the attempt, right? And there's honor in the struggle. And there's a lot of stories to be found within yourself when you know that winning something isn't possible, but you're going to see it through and complete it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's something about knowing that you're no, I mean, not to take away from like elite athletes, I think they're great, but there's something about like mid packers and back of the packers that they don't even know if they're going to meet like a cutoff. Like I've been there myself, um, and there's just something about that to me that's like a totally different level. Like they're doing it for like one reason only, and it's for themselves and for like love of the sport. To me, I think that's just like kind of you know like I said, not to diminish elites, but I think to me, like the real heart of like grit and like the sport is like in the people who know they'll probably never podium. I think
Mm.
that's like my favorite. That's my favorite group right there. They just love it. They love something about it, or they're like learning something about themselves. It's just to me that's kind of like that's real special to me.
Yeah, no, that's where the community is, right? And that's where the moments are shared. And yeah, and I've never done it, right? This is going to be our first go at it. I believe I know we'll learn something. I believe we can do it, and we got time to prepare. So
Oh yeah,
I think it'll be a fun process, and I'm looking forward to it.
heck yeah, I'm excited. I'll be definitely following along. This is so cool.
Yeah, and
Cool. Heck yeah.
it's funny. It's Western States weekend too, so it's like I think we Copper King runs Friday and ends Saturday, and Western States is on Saturday. So get done in time to see the real runners out, the professional runners out there doing their thing.
That's rad. So not to get too far ahead of yourself, but would you would you ever do anything beyond 100 miles? If I mean, obviously
Yeah,
that's probably going a little too far ahead in the future, but
yeah. I don't know. I don't
would
know. I don't know. One, I gotta run it through with my wife because she's, a big part of the team here. She wasn't
yeah,
super
yeah.
pumped on a 100 mile. I was like, my goal's like 30 hours. I think I can do it in 30 hours. She's like, okay. So if I told her like, yeah, let's sign up for a race where I'm gonna be out there for 4 days, I don't know that she's down with that yet. So we'll see. I never say no to right. Like I'm not gonna say
Never
no right away, but we'll see. I wanna enjoy the Copper Kings. I wanna enjoy the training time with Trey and bringing our family together and supporting Wes's event in Butte because Butte's an amazing town that I think bringing this community to them has such a positive ripple effect on what it means to sacrifice it to be an athlete and to give those kids hope. So I'm gonna enjoy that, and then we'll figure out what's next afterwards. But that what
yeah.
next question is always really scary to my wife because she's like, "Why are we doing something crazy again?"
It's good to have a support system, but yeah, you have to be like, "Hey, is this okay?" Like, totally understand.
Yeah.
I Oh, sorry about that. Have you heard, obviously you're probably aware of like the story behind Copper Kings too. It's like Wes's family has like some really thick connection with like the area of Butte, and like some of the trail runs through like some of his family's property, and then that was like an unsanctioned event that he used to do, and then it's like the story behind it is like really it's really special. So that's pretty cool that you'll get to experience that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I met Wes, actually, I was there for the first Copper King. We were there for the weekend, so I came up and I
Okay,
watched the first finishers cross, and then we came up, on the golden hour on Saturday night, and, yeah, I got to meet Wes in person. I had him on the show, and, yeah, we got to dive into what does it mean to
oh,
give back to a community that's given you something, right? And I think that's one of the real draws to us competing there is I was born in Butte. My oldest 2 kids were born in Butte. I met my wife in Butte. So it's been a big part of our life. So
cool.
to come back and be able to share that with some of the next generation is special to us as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because we had him on about the same time. That was a great episode too, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I did listen to that. It was really good. Yeah. Um, and that's something I want to talk about because you've been doing this for quite a while. Where do you're in the 300s, right, with your show
Yeah, yeah,
or
mid no, I'm in mid
200? Yeah.
300s. I'll probably be 350 here pretty quick. Yeah, 7
Okay.
years, Joe. We just kicked
Okay.
off our 7th year of
7
showing up
years.
every Thursday.
Heck yeah. I mean, so I'm a newer podcast host, so I have some podcast questions.
Let's do it.
Because you've been in the game for a while, and yeah, hell yeah. So the On Purpose Pod. I know it's
Yep.
like decide to do this podcast, and like, I mean, not to ask like a cliche question, but like, why for the On Purpose Pod?
That was interesting. So I was a police officer for 21 years. In my last like 8 years, I ran our training academy, and so I was always presenting to community groups and student groups and training the law enforcement professionals in our area. So when I left in 2018, one of the students, one of my friends, was like, "Hey, how are we going to hear you speak? Like, you're not going to be here to train us every month. You should start a podcast." And I was like, "Well, I've never done it." And, it was 2018. So I researched podcasts and we decided, like, okay, let's do a podcast. It sounds like a fun adventure. And I didn't know anything about it and just slowly progressed. My wife actually came up with the name, the On Purpose Podcast, because we're very purposeful in how we live, and things have a purpose of why we're doing them or we shouldn't be doing them. And yeah, we started from humble beginnings, and now the show is 7 years old. I'm always, like you alluded to in the beginning, getting comments and stuff. You're from people that listen to your show. You're like, wow, we're actually reaching people around the world. We're helping them have better days. We're getting them to think differently and put a little smile on their face. So that was how it started, and now it's just kind of become its own thing that quite honestly is one of the non-negotiables in my life. Like I have to have time for the podcast because as much as it gives to the community, it gives to me, and it's just super humbling.
Absolutely, that's something I've learned um, recently. Like, I couldn't imagine. I'm still young in my podcasting, but still, it's something I don't think I could ever go without now. It's become very important. Connections have been huge, and I think I do it for many reasons. I love sharing people's stories. I feel like everyone has a story that's worthy of sharing, and also like maybe it's like a little bit of a selfish thing too, but like it's like a bucket filler for me. I've learned like so much from other people by having these conversations. That's something I wanted to ask you because this is something I'm curious about. 300 what in 50 350 episodes. That's a really big body of work. What's something that you've learned about like yourself as you know, since you've been hosting the On Purpose podcast?
Well, that's a good question. Something I learned about myself from the show, um, is that I could be a better listener, right? I think if you go back and watch me, when we first started bringing on guests, I probably didn't listen as good as I should have, and I didn't pay attention to like what by listening you get the next question, or um, you allow people to dive deeper into the story than maybe they normally do, because in most conversations they're getting rushed in or out because we don't have real time to sit with each other anymore. So I've learned that about myself, to really just be
Yeah.
present, and kind of like the running, be present there, listen, and ask that next question that maybe they don't get a lot of time, that really allows them to expand their story.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's something that's like it's incredibly it's like way harder than you think to like dial in active listening. Like I'm not the best at it, and it's just been something I've really, really, really had to work at. So yeah, good. You know, I kind of love you. I love the fact that you mentioned that it's like something you've been working on, because sometimes like I could have been way better about. You know, I'll go back and listen to some shows and like, I could have been so much better at like being a little bit more engaged, or but it's hard, you know. I mean, think
Yeah.
about like the life that we live now with like we're just like bombarded with like these like little short clips of conversation. It's like kind of gone are the ways of like long form
Mhm.
conversation. So it's like really hard. It's a lot harder than you think to do,
Well, and I think
um
to your point there, Joe, like one
but
of the
yeah.
things is because you're a smaller show, I'm a smaller show. I have a producer, but my producer's off remote, so I send everything to her. So while we're having a talk, I'm also making sure our audio's still good. I'm making sure we don't have a lag on the internet, right? So it's easy to get distracted by all those things and be like, "Oh shit, what did you just say? I missed the next question." And so I guess that's one of the things, is I've dialed in my systems. I've kind of gotten rid of what doesn't work or what's not reliable, so that when I am having a conversation, I'm most of the time able to just focus on talking and
Indeed.
not worrying about anything else.
Well, it shows like I just it's a great show, and I mean you got me on some questions. I was just like, damn, that's really good question. So yeah, I I know there's a couple of them I was
Yeah,
like, I don't even know how to answer this right now.
you know what though? I mean, here's how I think about that, Joe. Is like, it's an honor to share your story, right? So when somebody wants to share their story with you, it's an honor to you to listen to it. So be present, ask questions, allow them to have the stage, share the story. Because like you said, we don't get to do that much in life. How many times do you engage with conversation with somebody and it's all about what they want, what they need, and they don't ask you one question and boom, they're gone to the next thing. You're like, wow, what was that? Like, I just got ran over by a truck. And that was a conversation. Well, it wasn't really a conversation. It was a one-sided, here's what I need, let's move on. Um, so to get here and to be able to be like, okay, you wanna share this with me. You had this crazy moment in your life that changed your life. Like, let's talk about this. What can we learn? What can we share? And I think what we do there, Joe, is when people are like, wait, Jerrod's not that much smarter than me. Jerrod, he isn't special, but he shares his story, and I like his story. They find that they might like their own story too, and that they start to share their own story. And when we do that, the world's a much better place than what we think it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. And it's like freeing to share your story too. And it's I love it when when something like like you say you share something, or you hear somebody share something like really resonates with you. It's like I really needed to hear that. So I think that's like really important to do that, you know, like to share your story or share other stories. I feel like it's like, you know, we're definitely missing a lot of that. Um, you know, in like kind of how we in the hustle and bustle, like you don't really it can feel kind of lonely. And I think like these kind of conversations, whether you're connecting in real life or like through a podcast, I think it's really important. It's something that I was definitely missing in my life. I didn't realize I was missing it till I started engaging in it. But
Yeah, as part of the
yeah,
program,
certainly.
right? Like, they don't tell you you're missing people. They just fill you with feeds, and you think you're getting what you're missing. Like, wait, why am I surrounded by people, but I'm lonelier than ever? Well, it's because you're not actually getting to know anybody. Why do I have all this information, but I don't know? much, right? Because you're not actually learning it. You're just caught in the process. And man, this is an opportunity to sit and share and go, wait, that's a good question. When like those are the conversations that are fun to have is wait, let me think about that. I haven't had to think in a while. Right. And
Yeah.
there's a quote I love out there, Joe, and it's kind of really big in our life is if you and I agree on everything, there's no need for both of us, right? Because we're the same.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
like, what kind of conversation are we going to have if we agree on everything all the time? Right? Because then I'm not learning from you
Yeah.
and you're not learning from me because we already think we know the same stuff. And when we get past, like, wait, let me add, whoa, Joe has a different opinion than me on this. Let me learn why Joe thinks this. Here's the funny thing. You might be right, and I could have been wrong my whole time. Right? And that is one of the things I've kinda taken with life as I've gotten older is I assume I don't know anything anymore, Joe. It's freeing. There's no responsibility when you don't know anything, and it lets others tell you what they know, and they may know more than you.
Oh, absolutely. I laugh because I totally agree. Like, I forgot what I was being asked a question and, recently, and somebody, I can't remember what it was. It was like, honestly, I don't know shit. Like half the time I'm just like, I think half the time I'm just like guessing my way through things. But I can think it's funny when you like reach an age, you're just like, I really don't think I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's with
I love
maturity,
that.
right?
It is freeing.
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Like, I wish somebody would taught me that in my 20s. Like, "Hey, go be a professional, but don't think you gotta know all the things. Just be in there and be like, I 'I don't know, let me learn from you.'" Life would have been so much more enjoying for me because I can't imagine the amount of good people I didn't get to know or the things I didn't get to learn because my ego and my arrogance said I already knew it. And now I'm like, "Wait, my time's short." I'm in my mid-50s now. I need to learn more. I don't know anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good stuff. Because it's funny that you say that because I've just like was literally just having that same like conversation and thought not that long ago. I'm like, I don't know, but I just know I'm probably wrong about most things. And if someone, can teach me the right thing, I'll absorb that and I'll be good with that. But
Yeah, and
I love that.
I mean,
Uh,
that's what life's about is learning from one another and finding the commonality because we're so much more alike, Joe, than we are different. But other things in the world wanna make us split hairs all the time, and we're this, we can't be that, and you think this, you can't think that, and man, the truth is none of that's really true. You could be a lot of different things. And when we get to actually know each other and hear stories and go, "Wait, wow, that's an amazing story you overcame." We have grace with one another. We're kinder to one another. We don't look for
oh
why we're
yeah,
different. We find the commonality, and then we live in that space, and that's a much, much better place for all of us to be.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that kind of you may have answered this question for me because this is something I highlighted because this is something I'm like really curious about. As you've been hosting the show. So what do you think that you've learned about like other people along the way
Mm.
to 350 episodes of Non-Purpose Podcast?
I would say one of the most influential guests I had on the show has taught me probably what I learned most, and that was Zach Mercurio. He's a PhD out of Colorado State University. He has a couple books now. The last is, I think it's called The Power of Mattering. And he studies
Oh,
the importance of letting people know they matter and how that applies in a workplace and social settings. And I think that's what I've learned is everybody has this need to be seen. We have a need to be heard and validated. And that's what I'm allowed to do with the show is let you know your story is important. Let you know, Joe, that your struggles have led you to a better life. And thank you for sharing because those are going to make somebody else see, wait, I can do this too. Right.
yeah.
And I get to really see people for 45 minutes to an hour every week for the year and not only see them, but share their stories so now other people see them. And what a powerful gift that is,
Oh yeah.
right? Because you and I have never met in real life. But yeah, if we do, when we do, Joe, because maybe I'll come to Copper Kings and pace you for a little bit in 2 years because I'll have experience by then, right? We'll
Heck
have
yeah.
a we'll have a bond already because we spent time together without ever being in the physical place with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's good stuff. Yeah, that's an interesting yeah, you do. It's like it's an amazing kind of how I mean, I've got the chance to like meet guests I've had on in real life. And you're right. It's like, oh wow, we already kind of know each other. It's like you're connected in some way. And I'm sure you agree with that. You've probably connected in each way with, 300 plus guests. Like, would you agree that you've taken probably like a piece, like one piece of like every single interview with you kind of along the way? And like, yeah, that's something that
Yeah.
I noticed lately.
Yeah, I would say you take something from all of them, and then I like to like, I call it the on purpose community, and I tell our guests, like, "Welcome to our community." And I've been blessed to actually meet up with guests in real life and host meetups and do things that bring the podcast to life for people. And actually, at the last Copper Kings 100, Natasha Swartley was the medic up there. Well, she had already
Yeah.
been on the show, and not only has she been on the show, but my mom listens to the show. My mom loved her story, so here my mom is getting to meet people that she normally wouldn't have met and get a big old hug, right? And you look at that and you're like, wow, that is what we're creating by giving people a place to share stories that other people will connect with. And it's
Oh,
not
I
all
love that.
about, it's not like, and that, one of the things is I don't need blue check marks behind every guest name. I don't need multi-million CEOs and all this. I kind of like you guys, the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, right? Like I want everyday people that are living lives that they're proud of, that is purposeful, that's intentional, that they've learned from, because that's where most of us are going to be, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where like that's where the good stuff is too. Like, I had the opportunity to have like I guess like a more like elites on whatever, but like honestly the stories that I've had like the most profound moments with were just yeah, just regular people, have whatever regular normal is. But those are always the real special conversations.
Yeah, for sure. And those are the ones that I remember, right? Like those are the ones that sit with me and like, man, I remember talking with Drew Main, who completed Cocodona and Monster 300. I remember talking with Zach Mercurio and realizing how I need to make sure the people in front of me are seen and heard because that validates what they're going through, right? And it's just fun, right? It's literally the study of humanity I get to do, and I get to selfishly learn and then share.
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of brings me up to something that I'm curious about. Like, now is I did like a little bit of like a deep dive on you in the show, obviously, and like the theme is like and like core belief of the show. Um, how do you like personally like living like on purpose? Like maybe not as like a logo or practice, I guess.
I missed that last part of that question. What was the question, Joe?
Oh, yeah, I guess I meant like how do you personally define living on purpose? Not as like, the
Mm,
slogan to your show, but as like a daily
yeah.
practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, like, what I try to do, what I want if I'm living on purpose, I'm not on autopilot. I'm not on cruise control. I'm not just doing things because I did it yesterday. There is an intention behind it. Whether it's the conversations I'm having with people, I'm being purposeful to thank the cashier at the grocery store, to ask people how they're doing, to smile at people when I see them on the street, to engage, to learning, reading, sharing with my wife, learning from my kids. Purposeful living means just that. Like every day, I'm trying to make myself a little better so that I can give a little more, right? Because I think to make this a little longer, I think we have a bad taste in our mouths. We're told that being selfish is bad and being selfless is good. And I would argue that you can't be selfless if you're not selfish, meaning I have to fill me first to give you more, Joe. If I neglect
Oh
me,
yeah.
if I neglect my fitness, if I neglect my learning, if I neglect all that makes me happy, to try to give you more. Well, now what I'm giving you from isn't my best. So you're actually going to get less. Right. So being purposeful means I'm going to be selfish a little bit. I'm going to take some time for me every day to make sure I'm doing the things that I need physically, mentally, emotionally, because now I can give you at a higher level. I can give to the community. Being purposeful means I wake up every day and I know, like, okay, if this is my last day, what should I be doing? I should be kind to people around me. I should learn something new. I should do something that makes me break a sweat. I should do something that makes me feel something new, right? And enjoy the people that I'm around for that moment, because I don't know when I'm going to get it. And that's the big thing, is I don't know when this ride of life ends, Joe. And I don't want to get there and go, damn, I wish I'd have paid more attention. I wish I would have shown up more for my kids or my wife, or for this interview. I wish I'd have paid attention to Joe a little more instead of thinking this, right? Being purposeful means being in your moments.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like I kind of had the same sort of mantra. It's like put on oxygen mask first before you help other people. So you kind of have to have your own time before you can you have to put on your own oxygen mask before you can help anybody else. Like on an airplane, that's kind of how I think of like training, or like any time that I have to set aside for fitness or like meditation or any kind of self care time. It's like if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be worth a damn for anybody else. So I totally agree with that, with like what you're getting at with like being on purpose. And like I love that. It's totally understand. I totally align with that thought. Um, yeah, I love that. It's good stuff, man. Yeah, you blew that one. That's good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's just how we live, dude. And that, I guess that's one of the things for me,
Yeah,
is I want it to be
yeah, I
authentic.
love that.
Like when you meet me in real life, I want you to be like, damn, he's the same dude as he is on the show. That he's not faking it. It's literally him. Um, because in today's world with Instagram and social media and all this, sometimes you meet people and you're like, hey, you're not anything like you are on social media. Like, that's okay. I don't enjoy that energy. I want authentic. When I meet you, Joe, I have no doubt you are Joe, right? There's no doubt in my mind. And that's important to me. And I think that's being purposeful, is knowing who you are and what you have to give is important. And you don't need to be anything else. You don't need to be
Yeah,
anybody else but you.
yeah. I will admit I am a way sillier version of this when I'm like mile 60 into a trail run. I
As
get
you
pretty
should
silly
be, right? As you should
out
be.
there.
Well, I look forward to seeing it someday, Joe. I look forward to seeing you on mile
Uh,
60.
so something I'm curious about, because I live vicariously a lot of people that I see that live this like lifestyle. So you and your family in an Airstream. I think this is probably one of the coolest things ever. I love Airstream trailers. I've always loved the idea of like living like this nomadic lifestyle. I have to unfortunately have to report to one single building every single day. So the idea of like doing this, so you and your family travel like all over, right? And work out of your Airstream. I think that's just like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Um, so how did that like? Tell me how you got to doing this. I guess I'm just super curious
Yeah.
about that.
No, that's a great question. It's all my wife's idea, so I grew up on the East Coast, right outside of DC. I was a city kid. I didn't really enjoy camping. When we raised our family in Colorado, we didn't go camping. We just had a lot of sports going on, a lot of busy family time. Um, so she actually came to me right before our youngest was about to graduate high school, and had me start watching these people on YouTube that had sold all their stuffs and were traveling all around, living out of RVs. And she had her mind set on an Airstream. So we ended up stumbling into a couple in our town that was selling a pickup and an Airstream trailer. And we bought them both from them. And Joe, I'd never had a pickup,
Oh,
and I had
cool.
never pulled a trailer of any kind before we bought the Airstream. So I had to watch like
Yeah.
YouTube videos on how you back a trailer up, and took some of my son's Matchbox
Y-
cards and I was practicing like, okay, if I turn this way, the trailer goes that way because it's opposite. And it was a whole thing. And I guess the biggest lesson that I would share for that is it was her dream, right? This lifestyle was her dream. It was never mine, but I got to be part of it. And that's one of the things sometimes is we don't participate in other people's dreams, but when you do, you might realize you really like it. I had no idea I would love this lifestyle. And I would never have thought of it for myself. She thought of
Yeah.
it. So I'm like, well, I don't have a good reason to say no why I can't do it. So let me learn what I need to learn and then we'll go try it. And now, yeah, this is our 5th year. We live in a 27-foot Airstream. It's just the 2 of us. Our kids are all grown. They're out traveling on their own.
Okay.
It's the 2 of us and our golden doodle oldest that you'll see in some of the running videos. And it's we've done last year we did coast to coast. We went from California all the way to Florida and then back into Wyoming for the summer. 2 years ago, we spent all winter in Mexico driving around. So it's amazing. It's freeing, and yeah, it puts you in the place to get out and see some amazing country.
Ah, man. So that's life goals right there. Were you reluctant at all, or were you just like, all right, like let's do this thing?
Um, no, I don't think I was reluctant. I was nervous as hell, and it's funny, right? Because
Nervous?
most of our relationship, I do the scary stuff, and she gets nervous and kind of supports and like when I'm fighting, like she's super nervous. The day of the fight, she can't eat, and she has no control over the outcome. She's just support. So the roles were reversed. She really wanted to do this, and I was super nervous. Like, man, I don't know. Can I learn how to do this? Well, I enjoy towing a trailer. Like, how much stuff do I have to fix? I was never a super handy dude at the house, but now when you're out here in this, you got to fix a lot of little problems that pop up. And what I've found is I enjoy it. I like the challenges. I like for us to look at a map and go, where do we want to go live? Like we're in Palm Canyon, Arizona, so we're like 2 hours outside of Phoenix by a little town called Quartzsite, has all the stuff we need. And we get to sit here for 14 days and we'll move somewhere else for a little bit. And it's yeah, it's awesome. And I guess here's the one thing I'll tell you. People are always like, what's one thing you've learned traveling for 5 years? Is this, Joe? 99% of people you meet are going to be very nice and very awesome because we're
Okay.
meeting people from all around the world traveling. We've in 5 years, I could probably tell you that like on 5 assholes that I've met, that I'm like, I don't ever want to see that person again. The rest, you're like, wow, these are good people. Like they're out here traveling as well. They're trying to find something new, and it lets you know that the world's not as bad a place as you might be led to believe.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious if that was going to be like what I was going to ask that question. So I'm glad you hit on that because it's like, do you ever like whenever you talk to people, you always get the feeling that like this town's like, well, those people over there are this way, and don't go over there, don't go to that neighborhood. It's a bad neighborhood, and I just wondered if like traveling has like shown you that's probably bullshit anyways, and as a whole, people are just really trying to do some good.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that you would say that. So I'm glad that you said that. I'm
No,
glad you hit on that. But
dude, and it's so true. Like, here's what I'll tell you is, some of the most in your normal life, one of the things we do is we ask people, "What do you do for a living, Joe?" Like one of the first things we, "Hey, Joe, I'm Jerrod. How you doing? What do you do, Joe?" And you're like, "Oh, this is my job." Right? We are so ingrained to introduce ourselves by what we do. Well, here's what I'll tell you. When you're out traveling like this and you're living in, I think we are in 217 square feet, and you get to meet somebody that you haven't met before, one of the least interesting things you can talk about is how you make your money, right? What we
yeah,
talk about is, hey, where'd you come from? Where are you going? Where's your favorite place last year? Oh, I've never been there. What'd you love about it? Oh, let me tell you about the cool spot where you have this epic view. Like that's, and it's kind of fun because out here, how you make money is irrelevant. Your social status is irrelevant. It's all about where are you going and where'd you come from, which is similar
oh, I
to
love that.
trail running, right? When we're running on the trails, nobody cares how much money you make, What's your job? We just want to make it to the next aid station. We want to make it to refill our water. And if we have company to talk about fun things like where's your favorite place to travel? What do you do for fun when you're not running? Like what's your favorite snack? What can you not wait to eat when you get there? That's what we remember. And I would tell you the nomadic life, the campfire stuff is just a quick cut to conversations that are actually important and that you want to have.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah, because like I mean, like I don't think I. It's not that I don't care what people do for money, but it's like it's really not something that ever comes to mind when I'm like trying to get to know somebody. So I love that like you hit on that. It's just like it's kind of like a control delete on all the other stuff, and you just get like right to the nitty gritty of getting to know somebody. So I think that's just like so
Well, and
cool.
it's I
Um,
think it's this, Joe, like, and well, and especially being a police officer. When I was 21 years, I was a police officer. I know a lot of people that they were a police officer all the time. Like that was their identity. And you'd come to a barbecue and you'd be like, Joe, let me introduce you to Jerrod. Jerrod's a police officer. And like it's the first thing people hear. And then they're deciding if they want to have a friendship with you or not, but they don't even know you. Right. And we do that all the time. Like, oh, hey, what do you do? I'm a CEO of a bank. Oh, okay. Well, I'm interested in banking. Now I want to be friends with you, but I'll dismiss the guy that maybe is a custodian at a high school because I don't find that job as high, on the socioeconomic status. But I could have learned more from this guy.
yeah.
Whereas out here, like we're literally none of that matters because you're all in the middle of
Oh man,
nowhere.
I love that.
And we get to see who we are, and we're only going to be together for short periods of time because you're both crossing. And I guess that's one thing I take away is this philosophy of if I'm in motion, me and Andrea are traveling, and you and your wife or your partner are traveling, and we meet in a desert outside a small town in Arizona, the odds of that happening aren't very good mathematically. We could have taken any other road, showed up at any other time, and we'd have missed each other. So the fact it did means I'm supposed to learn something from you, Joe. So let's have a campfire and let's talk. Let me figure out why did we meet? What was it? And we've met friends from our first year. Actually, they're camped right next door to us for this weekend that we would never have met. They were in they were an LA music producer and a Pilates instructor. We were from Colorado. Our paths would never have crossed except for meeting at a random campground.
Right there.
Uh,
Yeah, it's meant to be, right? You're supposed to have met that person.
But we don't do that, like,
That's
when we're
wild.
in our normal life. Like, when I say normal life, when I'm back in my cul-de-sac, when I'm back in my house and I'm going to the same job every day, and other people are going to their same jobs every day, and we cross paths, we don't have time or space this time to go, "Wait, why do I cross paths with this dude every day, but I don't know him?" Out here, you have a lot more time. You have a lot more freedom, and it's almost silly that you meet people and you don't be curious as to why you're meeting them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Something I want to ask then is through all these travels and like crossing all these paths, like meeting all these like really cool people and getting to have like these interviews with all these different people. Like I guess I'm curious, what is like one of your favorite places you've been to since you've been kind of on this like what do you say 5 year traveling journey?
Yeah. Yeah, it's our 5th year living full time in Airstream. Honestly, here's the answer I tell everybody when they ask my favorite place. It's usually the next place I'm going is my favorite place because I've
Next
never
place,
been
cool.
there.
I like
Like
that.
we don't
Yeah, because I
we
like
very
it.
seldom go to
Never
the
been
same
there.
place twice. So my favorite place is the next place I'm going. Now, if you ask me like over the course of a year, what was your favorite place? Last year we spent
Yeah.
winter in a little town called Old Town, Florida. That was a super awesome. It was very laid back. It was old school Florida. There was no high rises, no big beach communities, no traffic. That was super fun. Um, we got to go to Field of Dreams last year, like from the movie, that baseball field. If you build it, they will come in Iowa.
Oh,
We actually went and played
yes.
catch on that field, So every that is one thing I'll tell you, Joe, is when we look back at our phones for a year, because Andrew and I, at the end of a year, kind of look back on what we accomplished and we set goals for the next year. You're amazed at how much you see in a year that we didn't used to have time for in our other life.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you're probably just like really
And
in tune with like, yeah.
I think you're in tune with a lot of things. And because we have more control of our
That'll take a
time.
second.
Okay. We have more control of our time out here. And the days seem a lot longer than they used to in our old life. And that's one of the things about nomadic life that is fun is you have a lot more say in how the day goes.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, you definitely give them some more like fuel. I'm trying to talk my wife slowly
Yeah.
into this, like, hey, we're gonna be empty nesters soon. Like, I mean,
Mm,
it gets cold here in Indiana. We could always just like mosey on out west and get Starlink and
yeah.
work from home stuff. But
Yeah. No, there's so many ways to do that. And I think,
oh
uh,
wait, and also
go ahead.
yeah.
What was the
Oh, go
question?
ahead, Jerrod. Sorry. No, I was
Oh,
just gonna ask you about your guitars in the background. I was gonna
oh,
ask you about your guitars in the background too.
that's my
So
ukulele. I'm not skilled enough for a guitar. I just got a little ukulele.
oh, ukulele. Okay, cool. Okay. Sorry, I know
Yeah.
that was random, but I was just like, oh, I see an instrument back there.
Yeah. No, dude, that was my 50th birthday present. And this is a funny story, right? I was never into music as a kid. I remember in 6th grade getting kicked out of music class all the time because of my behavior. And I just told myself this story my whole life that I was no good at music. And then as I was getting to my 50th birthday, I can't remember. I was reading something. There was a question in there. It's like, what story have you been telling yourself that you don't even know if it's true, but you've believed it? And I sat with it for a little bit and I'm like, I've told myself I'm no good at music, but my wife loves concerts. We go to concert. We love music. And I was like, why have I told myself I'm no good at music? And as I started dissecting that, Joe, I realized I never even tried. Like I literally never tried to play. But because I got kicked out of music class, I just assumed I was not good at music. So if this was my sister's ukulele that she wasn't playing anymore. So she gifted it to me on my 50th birthday. And now I'm not good at it, but I can dabble and like on quiet nights, I'll play and it usually puts Andrea to sleep, but it's a ukulele, man. So yeah, it's one of those things. And I guess that would be something I'd share with the community is it was a good lesson for me of like, what are some things we're
That's
telling
cool.
ourselves
I
that we don't
love
even know if
that.
they're true anymore, but we've told ourselves it forever to where we just believe it's true, but it might not be.
Oh
Examine
yeah,
that
there's so
and go, wait, maybe I should challenge this.
yeah. I love that. I mean, there's so many times I'm like, I've never been good at this and never good at that. Like, wait, have I actually given myself a true chance at trying it? And I'm always surprised with
Yeah.
usually. I mean, it may not be pretty, but the outcome's usually way different than I expect. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
Or maybe you do suck. You're right. Or maybe
Well,
maybe you are awful at it. And then you're like, okay, well now I know I'm actually awful. Let's not do it again. And then you can at least
yeah, no.
eliminate it from things you might want to do. Because it's possible. Like I'm never gonna be
Yeah.
on stage playing the ukulele, but my wife and I enjoy it. And my dog likes it.
I love that. Well, speaking of music, so I don't know if you know, but me and Jason host this like fun music podcast, and I always love to kind of wrap up this show. I have one more follow up question after this. Um, it's been a joy having you on, Jerrod. I can't wait to follow along with your Copper Kings journey. We're going to find a time where we can run together somewhere. It may have to be in Butte, but
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a music question. I know you don't run with music a lot. I haven't been running with music a lot lately either. But if you are listening to music, what's been on your playlist lately? I'll put this on our play. We have like this like big community playlist where everybody adds their music, and I'll add it to that
Mm.
playlist. So
How many
what's something that's kind of on a regular play? Yeah, go ahead.
how many songs do I get? Just one?
Oh, you can get however many you want. Yeah, go
Okay.
rattle a
Well,
few off if you want. Go
I'll
ahead.
tell you on my Spotify Rap because I love Spotify Rap. My number one song is called "Hello, My Son" by Trevor Hall, and I like it because it's got a smooth,
Okay.
folky melody, so it keeps my heart rate down. And it's all about him welcoming his son to the world and like seeing the world through his son's eyes. And it just reminds me of my family. It reminds me our son. It reminds me to enjoy the moment while I'm running. So that's my I'm big on putting something on just a loop, and I'll like if I'm gonna run to a song, I run to that same song for a long time before I switch it
Oh,
out. So that
wow.
one's big, and but I write the same way, Joe. If I'm gonna write, like, because I wrote a book, I'm working on another book. When I write, I don't have random songs going. I put the same song on over and over so I can kind of feel the story, and then it becomes kind of background noise. I'm not getting caught in different emotions of songs, but Hello, My Son's number one, and then Cody Johnson, Till I Can't. That one I'll put on a lot, a little
Okay.
country song talking about chasing dreams because
All right.
dreams won't chase themselves. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, that's right. This dream
Ooh.
won't chase itself. So I got to keep on moving. That's kind of the chorus of the song. So those would be my two that
Oh,
I
I
put
love that.
on loop a lot. And then every now and then I'll just throw on a podcast. Like if I have a real long, slow run, I'll throw on a podcast that'll get me through, a couple hours.
Cool. Yeah, I'll add this to. I'll have to add that to my morning run commute. Sounds like some good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Something I'm curious about. Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff we didn't cover in this pod because you've done a lot of things, but outside of like running and like mixed martial arts, like outside, like just tell something about yourself that's maybe not related to like anything that you'd shared, like your history of law enforcement. I know you write, but also maybe something that you enjoy doing that's not related to like any of those things.
Man, something I enjoy doing that's not related to any of those things would be that's a really good question. Um, I enjoy helping others find their ability to believe in themselves, right? Like if you would ask me what
Ooh,
superpower could I have, if I was allowed to be a superhero and have a superpower, it would be that I would be able to get you to believe in yourself. Because once we believe in
oh, nice.
ourselves, we don't we what's possible starts to change, right? And
Yeah.
that's that's it. So that's through coaching, right? Through giving back, through speaking to others, to the programs we run. And it's really, if I boiled it down, that's what I love doing is getting people to believe in themselves again. In a world where we get told what we can't do, who we can't become, why we shouldn't get along with somebody. I want to be the opposite and be like, no, let's believe in ourselves and let's believe in the people around us. And that's the kind of world I want to live in. And we get to create it, right? And it's nobody else's job to create that for us, Joe. So I can create it in my little circle, you create it in your little circle, and the world becomes a better place.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Um, so I know this is something I did kind of give you a little bit of prep time for, but I'm curious, like, what if you had to leave us with some closing advice? Like, what would that be?
Mm. Don't try to be perfect, right? Don't live your life trying to be perfect because that fear of not being perfect keeps you from doing the things you're going to regret later. You don't have to be perfect to have an
Hmm.
impact for your family. You don't have to be perfect to try something, right? You just have to have the courage to go, okay, I'm afraid. Let me step forward anyhow. I'm afraid. Let me go try this.
Ooh, I love that.
And your story isn't about being perfect. It's about being you and showing up for you. So that's what I would leave the community with is let's take time and think when we hear this, what do we want to do what we haven't showed up for? And why are we not showing up? And what happens if I do show up? And then we start showing up. Get rid of being perfect. Perfect's never my goal. I just want to show up and compete. And what I mean compete is I don't mean compete to win the race. I mean compete to be better than I was the day before.
Oh yeah.
And then imagine if you do that every day for
love that.
365 days, imagine at the end of the year how much progress you've made. That's what I'd leave
Yeah,
with,
I mean,
Joe.
even if it's just like, yeah, I love that. Even if it's just like 1%, 1%, like, isn't that what they say? Like, just 1% better, 1% better. I love that. Um, Hey, Jerrod, thank you. Like, it's been an honor having you on. I'm blown away, man. You left me with some good stuff to think about on this one, to be completely honest with you. Some of it left me speechless because I'm just like, damn, yeah, that was good stuff, dude. So I appreciate the hell of you coming on my show. It's been cool getting to know you. I had a great time on your show. I love what you're doing, and keep it up. Um, just real quick, tell everybody, like, obviously plug your show. I know you wrote a book. We didn't even touch on your book. Sorry about that, but maybe just kind of shout those things out so people will know where to find you, or like find the show, find the book.
Yeah.
I highly encourage looking Jerrod up on Instagram. So
Well, thank you.
yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. I thank you so much for sharing your community with me. The easiest way is theonpurposepodcast.com is our website that has all the podcast related stuff, all the social links. The podcast is on all major apps, including YouTube. We do video every week of it. And then, yeah, I would love to have you come over to the community, be part of what we're building. And as Joe said earlier, your support, your comments, your shares, your likes, you don't know how immeasurable that is to a small family run podcast like Joe's, like ours. So I would love to have you join the community, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jerrod. It's been awesome having you on. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Yeah, go find Jerrod on Instagram, the On Purpose Podcast. The newsletter that comes out, I love the newsletter. Just do yourself a favor and follow Jerrod, follow the On Purpose Pod. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming on, Jerrod. It was awesome. Like I said, subscribe, rate, review. Huge favor. We can't thank you enough for doing that. For shows like me and Jerrod's and the On Purpose Podcast, that's huge for us. So thank you all, and I will see you all next time beyond the finish line.